Hey everybody, it's Bryan, your friendly neighborhood reviewer, and I'm here today to discuss the Kinks' 1975 theatrical concept album, Soap Opera. Got a copy here. Got a copy. Actually, this album charted pretty good over here. I think it went to like number 51, something like that. It doesn't sound quite as impressive, but they were in a fallow period at the time, so this album is actually pretty easy to find, considering all the other theatrical albums they did as far as Preservation, Act 1 and 2, and Schoolboys in Disgrace. It's not too difficult to find. But that's a nice cover. Of course, it's parodying the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo's creation of Adam, I think, painting. Of course, yeah. The Star Maker and Norman. So we'll get into the story in just a moment. But, really cool back cover, of course. All these illustrate the songs from the program. Neat. And we go into this, of course. Really neat how they did that. Nice illustrations. Really cool lyrics. This is a really good album. We'll go back a little bit of history of the Kinks, just a little bit. Formed in 1963, if I'm not mistaken, in Muswell Hill, London, northern London. Ray and Dave Davies, the two brothers. Very volatile relationship. But they formed the group. Ray Davies is on rhythm guitar, lead vocals, does a lot of songwriting, little keyboards. And Dave Davies is on vocals and lead guitar, and also he songwrites as well. They Ray Davies' friend Peter Quaife, the bassist, and then later on they got Mick Avery from an ad, I think, in the Melody Maker, and he joined the band. He was with them off on pretty much the entire career. I think for a little bit in the 80s he wasn't with them. Amazing group. They started off like a lot of groups, doing R&B, blues covers, things like that. And then the Kinks developed their own sound very quickly. Of course, their third single, "You Really Got Me," was a huge hit on both sides of the Atlantic. But and of course, it's very famous for creating power chord metal or power chord rock. Dave Davies famously slashed up the inside of his speaker, the cone of the speaker, to get that gritty sound that you hear on "You Really Got Me." So that was innovative, to say the least. And the Kinks were a very unusual outfit. They had, again, they weren't really as, they got into the R&B and rock, and they did do some cover versions, but their cover versions are not, say, as, I wouldn't say hard rocking, but let's say not as authentic as something like the Animals or the Rolling Stones, which, they were all like just amazingly blues freaks, all of them were. Ray Davies was more of definitely a British composer. He is the most British of British composers, talking of village greens and talking of going to church on Sundays and just simple British life. He chronicalized that so well in all these albums that he did throughout the years. But the Kinks they have four distinct periods which they went through. The first early period from "You Really Got Me" through, let's say, the Kink Controversy, which is their masterpiece of the early period. That's their first period, the early British hardcore crunching sound of that British invasion sound. And then you can see there was something going on with Ray Davies because he started doing these like little social commentary kind of songs, kind of like "Well Respected Man," "See My Friends," some of those early songs like that, which were a lot more reflective, introspective, and much more in-depth lyrics than had previously been hinted at. So that set the stage. The Kink Controversy, which has some amazing songs on it. "I'm on an Island's on it. I Am Free," which Dave Davies' contribution. "Till the End of the Day" is on it. "Where Have All the Good Times Gone?" Just an amazing album. One classic song, and the lyrics for an early hard rock album from that classic, early period of rock, to have that kind of depth and songwriting for that sound was amazing. And the Kinks Controversy had that in spades. Classic album. That set the stage for Davies and the Kinks' second stage, which is their classic period, where they created just basically one classic album after another, starting with Face to Face, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. That's the one that has Sunny Afternoon and Dandy on it, and had their last actually hits for about a good 4 year period because they got in trouble with the American Federation Musicians Union, and they banned them from performing over here in America. So where I don't know how they can one thing can ban an entire band, but oh well. But they were banned, so for 3 or 4 years they couldn't perform here in America. So they lost their audience here in America, and their British audience was good for a little while, but then they kind of lagged off too. But because they went, I guess, more psychedelic, I don't know. But they had British hits all the way up through Days and other songs that they had done. Dave Days too, as well as Death of the Clown had a couple of hit singles. But their commerciality went down in America, which is a shame because it's their prime period, starting with Face to Face, continuing with the Village Green Preservation Society, and then Arthur, Something Else, another classic collection with Waterloo Sunset. Just one great album after another, up through Lola. And then after Lola, they went to, they switched labels. They left Reprise and signed with RCA Victor. So when they signed with RCA Victor, they got a five album deal, I think it was. The first album was Muswell Hillbillies, another classic set. Again, he was on a streak of albums, just one 5-star classic album after another. So when he got to, he had this idea of theater piece albums. In other words, kind of like Tommy was a rock opera, played in, theaters and stuff like that. Well, he got the idea of doing more of a Broadway theatrical show incorporating rock music. But he went into full-blown theatrical mode. Now, the Kinks have always done concept albums. That is a given. He is, like a lot of these artists, Neil Young and some of these other ones, they're concept album driven. They work well in a certain format. So he had been writing concept albums since, my goodness, like I said, Face to Face. Village Green is a concept album. Arthur is a concept album. Lola is a concept album. Muswell Hillbillies, in a way, is a concept album. So it's not like he wasn't doing this before anyway. So when we got to RCA Victor, he first of all did a three LP stage presentation called Preservation, which takes the characters of the Village Green Preservation Society and puts them in a modern setting where basically he's contrasting the different political systems of capitalism and how greedy it can get against communism and how corrupt that can get and how evil that can get against simple socialism, which I guess is what he's favoring for. But anyway, it contrasts three different political systems with a wide variety of characters with different moral and insights and things like that. So it's a fascinating album, a lot better now because those albums, they just don't get made like that anymore. But a fascinating album, really interesting to listen to and to really discern and decipher and to enjoy. But it was his big ambitious statement. This one is a little more intimate and a little more quaint, I guess you might say. And it's a really sweet album. It's a really cute album because when you figure out what's going on by the end of it, when they tell you what's actually happening with Norman and his wife, it's really cute. It's really cute how it turns on itself, the story. This originally was presented as a television musical on Granada Television in 1974, and you can actually find that on YouTube if you want to look it up. I definitely recommend that one over the stage presentation one, which they do have that too as well, which is neat to watch. It's really great, especially how Ray Davies uses at the moment when he's like, well, no, I'm really Ray Davies of the Kinks. I'm not Norman. When he has that little insight kind of thing there. It's really cute how he does that, and then he introduces a lot of his hits. Like, remember, I wrote this. So it's really cute how he does that. I would advise to definitely watch the Granada television special because it works so well there. It's called The Star Maker. That's what it's under the title of. Originally, this was called Star Maker, but then changed to soap opera. but it's amazing. It's Ray Davies performs the title character. Um, June Ritchie, I think, plays his wife Andrea, who played also on this as well. But really well done. It's really cool. Really neat. It'll make half hour of your life absolutely joyous if you get to watch that. And then, of course, definitely check out the concert version. That's I think YouTube has that on here too. It's really nicely done, and really get a sense of what the show is like. Which brings me again to the LP. All right. So this again, continuing Davies' theatrical phase. After this, he would do Schoolboys in Disgrace, and then go into the final phase, his arena rock phase, starting with Sleepwalker, which culminated with Come Dancing and State of Confusion, all that big hits. But anyway, so this presents the Kinks again in stage theatrical form. 12 tracks on it. Two of them really weren't in the show. Holiday Romance really wasn't in the show. Neither was Ducks on the Wall. Holiday Romance is a great song. Ducks on the Wall is really annoying, and the one song that I do not like on this album. I guess some people like it. I just, it was released as a single, but I just think it's annoying. But anyway, starts out with Everybody's a Star, Star Maker, which another thing too, the lyrics on this, it really, for a concept album, it really delves very well into the concept. You get to know the characters, you get to know the story, you're right in there, and that's the way a concept album should be. The simpler concept album is, the more effective it can be. When you get too complicated and you get too much into a story, it can really be, it can get a little tedious. This one keeps it simple and sweet, and that's why it works so effectively. But Everybody's a Star, Star Maker, which is kind of a little bit of a rewrite of the Who's I Can't Explain, a little bit, that riff, but it works on its own. It's a great Kinks rocker. Great opening. Sets the tone. Just great. Just great. Shame it didn't do nothing as a single. Unbelievable. It's just a classic Kinks rocker. And then it leads on into Ordinary People, which what it is as we start the story, we have this rock star. His name's Star Maker, all right? Just a generic title. So he decides to switch places with this ordinary bloke in England. His name is Norman, and his wife. So he's going to switch places with Norman, go to the office, even sleep with his wife. He has such a sacrifice. But he does all that in order to get material for his new songs. So that's the theme of the story. So he switches places with Norman and goes and talks about ordinary people, how they live their life and all that stuff, different from being a superstar and all that stuff. So, but anyway, Ordinary People's a great set piece. It sets the tone for the album again, just like Everybody's a Star, Star Maker introduces it. This sets the tone for it. And that gets us right into Rush Hour Blues. Yeah, Rush Hour Blues. That's a good one. Talk about Norman, a.k.a. the Star Maker, getting ready for work and getting in the rush hour queue and all that stuff, and the headaches of getting to the office on time, all that simple, ordinary stuff, And then 9 to 5, a classic Ray Davies ballad. In 9 to 5, life is so incredibly dull, working from 9 to 5. He always captures the triumphs and tragedies of the little guy, those in the middle working class, that kind of stuff. It's always great to hear. But 9 to 5 is a great ballad. Then, of course, when work is over, they go have a few drinks to the bar and forget about everything. So when work is over and have another drink or two, little drinking songs that work really well in this context. And it really flows as a concept album. He's done this over and over again, different kind of concept albums, so he knows how to put one together. And this is a great flowing concept album. So side one, again, first side, classic. Not a bad song. Every song works as a set piece, as a lyric, as a story. It works great. You flip over to side two, and you have, one of his greatest songs of all time, Underneath the Neon Sign. Just a simple, after Norman, a Star Maker, gets a little drunk and he comes home and he always sees all this because he's in the city. He just sees slabs of concrete and all these neon signs, and that's his imitation moonlight. Man, he can hit those introspective, little quiet moments that you don't think about. Underneath the Neon Sign is one of those great epiphany moments. Just a great song. Well, And then from that, we go into the song that really wasn't included in this, but it does work well on this, is Holiday Romance, where our hero goes on a little cruise ship and meets this girl, Lavinia, and all that stuff. But she's married, so it's innocent, but it's cute. Doesn't really belong on the album, but it's a nice little addition. But after that, then he staggers home, and you make it all worthwhile is when he meets his wife, and she's got dinner ready for him, and his slippers and all that and everything. He's had a rough day. So that's a cute little scene. And June Rich is great in that, but that's a great song. And then Ducks on the Wall, which is the one I don't like too much. I think it's kind of an annoying rocker. But but hey, some people like it. It is funny in a way. I can't bawl with these ducks on the wall. I guess it's kind of funny. But but that's the one track that I don't like too much. But it's it's okay. And then another classic Davies track, A Face in the Crowd. Man, where Norman comes to his senses and realizes, I'm just, his wife kind of gets on him, says, you're not a star maker, you're Norman. You wanted to be this last week, and you want to be this week. So it's cute. It's a cute story. But A Face in the Crowd, it's a sweet, kind of, not so much a defeatist ballad, but kind of a realistic ballad, I guess you might say. But then you Can't Stop the Music, which, it's like, dreams do go on. There are people that do make it as rock stars. There are people that do make it as actors. There are people that do make it as whatever talent they've got. So maybe Norman just didn't figure his out yet. But we'll leave it at that and hope for the best for him. But this is an amazing album. This is one that, believe it or not, for a long time, critics did not like this album. And it's a shame because some of these albums that have got critically panned over the years, I know the Press to Play always puzzled me about the Paul McCartney one, but this one's puzzled me even more because this is an amazing album, very well crafted, extremely well done. The live show was pretty critically acclaimed at the time too, but so they showed how they became a really crack touring outfit. I mean, to put on these kind of shows, you have to be a crack touring outfit. You can't be a lousy band and be able to do this stuff because this is a lot of work. A lot of work went into this program. But this is a really good album. They gave it like 1 or 2 stars in the Rolling Stone Guide before. That nonsense, absolute nonsense. This period of the Kinks is getting another rewrite too in history because it's Ray Davies sometimes is ahead of his times and sometimes the nostalgia a little behind the times. But his work will always be amazing. His work will go on. He is one of the greatest songwriters ever. I can't say enough about him. Just amazing songwriter. He's changed a lot of people's lives with his songwriting. He really has. So kudos to him. And Soap Opera is a great album. It's a charming album. It's well crafted. It's beautifully paced. It's classic Kinks. What can you say? Not quite perfect. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 because I get ducks on the wall. I don't like too much. But compared to like the Rolling Stone Record Guide, 1 and 2 stars, nonsense. This is a great album. Pick this up. And you should be able to find a good copy of it for a reasonable price, $10-15. So, but yeah, great album. Great album. Don't overlook this. Anyway, appreciate it, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the reviews. I enjoy doing this, and let me know what you think. I'm always curious what everybody thinks about these albums that I bring up. Kink Soap Opera. Let me know what you think. I think it's a classic Kink album, or a near classic Kinks album. Certainly, they've done plenty. My goodness, high quality of work. He's always done 4 and 5-star level albums. Very few Kinks albums are just below the 4-star level. But fascinating group. Absolutely my favorites. When I heard I'm on an Island from the live Kinks, that just sealed it for me. That track just did it for me. But they are definitely one of the greatest groups of all time. And Ray Davies and Dave Davies both of them are amazing songwriters. Dave Davies doesn't get enough credit as a songwriter. He's an amazing songwriter. Anyway, appreciate it, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the buttons. Hope you enjoy the review. Have a good day. Have an awesome day. Be good to each other. Love each other. Thanks, guys. Take care.